left right here, we have my planted jar that has pearlweed and then the water wisteria. The water wisteria is starting to die back because it's running out of room. If you take a closer look here on the sides of it, you can see that it's starting to pop out and, well, trying its best to make its way out of this jar. Basically, this is 1 month without a water change. It's hard to tell, but there's nothing but algae at the bottom right now. It still has a little bit of new growth coming in. And yeah, I can't believe this started out with just one single leaf and it turned into that in less than a month. And here we have to the right another jar. So what I'm essentially going to end up doing, I have to do maintenance on this jar right here. I'm going to take down the water all the way down almost to the dirt. And I don't really want to pluck the pearlweed out because that's just going to disrupt the soil. I just want to see if I can take a little bit of it out, and I'm going to put it in that jar. Now I do have a much bigger jar right here, and that's where the water wisteria will be. A little empty Prego jar from Spaghetti Night. And yeah, I'll go ahead and get that started. What I'll be using is organic potting mix and also some worm castings, and that raises the ammonia to crazy amounts. But as you can see, in 1 month, stem plants do very well in it. And I have plenty of these jars just laying around too, so I might grab a couple of different plants and see if I could squeeze in some time to do that real quick, because it's almost time for me to make dinner. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys what I'm doing before I do it. And I think this is pretty impressive after just 1 month. We got that much growth and no water changes. 1 month and no water change. So this will be the first time I change the water in there, and it'll be almost 100% water change. But I'm just going to replace it with more fish tank water, and that's with all of the jars. They are getting old fish tank water. So again, let me go ahead and set this up. So I'm just realizing, well, I'm not just realizing, but it's gonna be really hard for me to film. That is my tripod right there. It doesn't tilt down so that you can get a really good view of what's going on. Basically, I have to grab a chair, an extra chair, and angle it. So I'm gonna do the best I can. Wish me luck. I actually managed to find some spare pearlweed from my 5.5 tank that was just floating, and it ended up being in one of the jugs that holds the dirty water. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this in one of the smaller jars. Like I said, I have plenty of jars, but I'm just going to try to do 2 today before I get ready to do some other stuff and make dinner. So yeah, let's get started and we'll see how this goes. this is what I pulled out of that tiny little jar. You can see everything's all stirred up in there. This water wisteria, when I first put it in there, was just a leaf. Literally just a leaf like this. And this thing has grown. Like, that's a full plant right there. And it has stunted growth. Yes, plants can have a bit of stunted growth. If you look at the tips of it, they're curled up and a lot of browning here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put them in a bigger jar, and I'm not even going to rinse them off, just put them in just like that. I do want to add too that these are not your typical aquascaping tongs. These are actually feeding tongs, so these are much more harsh on the plants than an aquascaping tong, so I have to be really careful using them. I'm going to try to just put a small grip on the plant, and I actually ended up grabbing some pearlweed as well, but I'll throw that back in that jar, or I'll also put it in with the other stray pearlweed, but we'll just see. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and yeah, we'll see the finished product. So here is your finished product. It didn't quite work out the way I thought it would. I did push up some of that dirt. In fact, I even see some worm castings. The roots were really set in there, and they're pretty long, so yeah, I had to dig quite a bit to get in there. So I did end up having quite a bit of debris come up, which is fine. This is going to be outside anyway, so I think in about another month it should look pretty cool. Now the water is tinted yellow because of the tannins. This water actually came from the 5.5 that is Commander's tank, but it's not, does not have him in it. I'm still in the process of quarantining that tank before I put him in it, because I want to make sure it's nice and safe for him to be in. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the other jar over there, and I will be done. So this is the finished product. We have the original over here, the pearlweed. We have pearlweed from the original. We have the water wisteria, and then we have a pennywort here. That's the new plant that I wanted to try. And we'll see what's gonna happen. Some of these I actually don't have enough lids. Some of the sauce that came out of this, like, it is really hard to get out, so I decided not to use them. Oops, sorry about that. And yeah, so we're just gonna leave them open top for now and see what happens. I'm not really worried about mosquitoes trying to lay their eggs in here, because it is on the patio, but if I do see mosquito larvae, I will just give them to my fish. So I did want to note, I really hate this sand. I know it's made specifically for aquariums, but to me it's, I don't know. It's hard to describe the texture of this sand. It feels like play sand, but then it's lightweight, almost like pieces of plastic. And it always bubbles up, and it's always floating. And I don't even know if I want to use the rest. I have about maybe 4.5 pounds left of this sand that I could use for my other bed is set up, but that was the plan, but I don't think that I want to use it, just because it just gets everywhere and it's annoying to use. So I don't know, I'll just have to sleep on it and see what happens. And anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my little jar setups. And we'll see them again in about a month and see what happens. It's gonna get a little bit cooler, and by cooler I mean under 92 degrees in Florida. So it's gonna be a little bit cooler. And I just found out today we have a hurricane coming towards us, so it's definitely gonna be cooler for a little bit, and then after that it's gonna be sizzling hot, and then after Halloween, that's when fall officially starts here in Florida and we get that beautiful 85-degree weather. So yeah, that's fall here. But anyways, I think I can do this for another month, and after that I'm gonna shut my project down, bring it indoors, and I'm thinking of putting all those jars with the lids probably on top of that cabinet. That's where Commander is right now, and that's where the other betta will be when I start scaping his tank. But I'm thinking about doing that, or I don't know, I could possibly keep them outside and try to overwinter them, but once we hit that one period of time where it's below freezing, I don't know if they'll make it, but we'll see what happens. And for now, I'm just gonna put these back on the patio and let them grow.